Hi, I'm Rajesh Unni. I'm the CEO of Synergy and the co-CEO at Alpha Ori Technologies. Absolutely. I think, Richard, this is one of the most relevant questions you can get to today. I'm really excited about everything that's happening above in terms of decarbonization, digitalization. People have the right intent. People want to do the right thing. Absolutely. But what we forget is that people is at the center of everything that's happening. And we have seen numerous times that as an industry, we've failed if we don't give enough consideration on how we can upskill or reskill the people to be able to manage this change well. And I can give you a clear example of one of the things. When we were the one of the first few ones which went into dual fuel LNG, and we were involved heavily to help the administration draw out the framework on how we should even certify officers to be able to man these ships. So this is like few months before even taking delivery of the ship. Should we be in this position? I think that if we are all planning and trying to decarbonize, we're going ammonia as an alternate, methanol, whatever we're talking about digital transformation. I think the key on making this successful is how do we help people to manage this change effectively. So without S and G and proper governance around this, I'm afraid that we are putting the cart before the horse in some form. Totally. I think it's often underestimated on how much a culture and mindset plays in adoption. And it is very clear that when it comes to things that are newer, like technology or decarbonization, alternative fuel, this is even more challenging. Uh, if you look at ships, we still have able-bodied seamen. I don't see any relevance on why we should have able-bodied seamen. How are we preparing the people to be able to manage this change in the most effective manner? So it's great to talk about this and do the right thing. But if we do not invest in the people, and a case and example is that I was presenting just about 45 minutes ago, and when we looked at the people that were part of the discussion, we didn't really find a lot of ship owners and other people coming into this discussion where it was about addressing the skill gap, which clearly is also a sign. And I was telling Casper, it's also clearly a sign that people feel, okay, this is somebody else's job, let them do it. We have focused on this, we have outsourced some of this thing. But I think this outsource will work, but it has to be an inclusive discussion which involves multiple stakeholders. And we have to realize that if we do not invest into people, like I said, when the COVID crisis hit, it's a ticking time bomb, and we will basically fish from the same pool, and we will scramble for resources. And that will, of course, relate into incidents and safety issues, which we really don't want to go that path. So I think clearly from our industry, which has been quite archaic, and I've been telling this many times already, it's always fundamentally a cost-based discussion with our customers. And that's not sustainable, I feel. And if it is not sustainable, then we need to move to a value-based discussion. And there has to be an alignment of incentives and interests, which means that there will be times where you'll have to put your neck on the line for then to there's to be belief that our interests are aligned. So ship management can't be seen as a place where we take no risk and we just having a fee. But when anything goes wrong, it is considered that we make a fee out of that too. So that's clearly a disalignment of incentives. So how do we move from these cost-based discussions to a value-based discussion? And when we get there, I think it is clear that we will have to reinvent the business and the operating models. And only then we can get into how we capture these value creations. But I think it's essential that we move from cost to value-based discussion. So, for example, if I say that if I am operating an asset, how can I ensure a reliability factor of, say, over 95%? And then that reliability factor can't be something that we emotionally feel and said. That baseline has to be based on science and math and logic. So once we set that baselines, then you clearly measured against something that is factual and transparent. And on that basis, we can set models which says how do you capture that value that you're creating about providing an asset that is reliable by X percentage. Things like that. Decarbonization, for example. How do you measure yourself as an asset, and how well have you reduced the carbon footprint of that asset going forward? And that can you then capture that value that you've created for your customers? So just a broad-based discussion.